Okay. We're telling your followers that you started a live video.
Yes. The nerves. I should probably drop some tunes in the background so they don't think we're...
All right, we got some people logging on. Give it a few more minutes. Welcome, everyone. My name is Angie with the podcast Wind Down the Week with Angie that is brought to you by Soul Tech Solutions. So today we are winding down our season. So it's the last episode of our season. So we really just want to do a recap and chat with our audience and followers and interact with you. See if you had any questions about the podcast. We'll give you a sneak peek behind the scenes of our studios in a few minutes. Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining. I encourage you to grab your favorite local beverage. We'll be talking about drinks. Oh, we love Soul Tech. We love you guys too. Okay. All right, so I want to encourage you guys to type in the comment box, throw out any questions that you might have about the podcast. Want to answer any questions you might have. I own a plant shop here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, which I'm currently at now, so happy to talk plants with you or anything about the shop. Oh, new to the channel. Cheers to California. Thank you for watching. Oh, everybody's so sweet. Cheers. Okay, so today I'm drinking red wine from Blue Ridge Winery. Amazing, amazing wine. Thank you to them for being our sponsor. Really fun. So this idea came, we really wanted to highlight local spirits, local wine, local beer, local liquor. So we partnered with a lot of different local places here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. We are blessed to be surrounded by a ton of spirit entrepreneurs. So Franklin Hill Vineyards we've worked with, Social Still Distillery, Blue Ridge, Colony Meadery, Bond Brewery. So many fun partners, Christmas City Spirits as well. So thank you to all of our spirit partners we've had throughout the season. So I'd love to hear from all of you who tuned into the podcast. Did you try any of the different spirits we highlighted? If you did, what was your favorite? So drop that in the comment box. We can talk about it. I really liked trying different meads. So I have had mead before, but not as much as I've had doing this podcast. And it was a really new experience. If you haven't tried it, it's honey wine is the best way to describe it. Really, really interesting taste and very hard to describe unless you've had it, but it's so good. So that's something fun for the holidays to try. And I'm a wine girl, so I like wine. I love whiskey as well. So Social Still Distillery has amazing bourbon that we had a few times. That was awesome as well. Bond Place beer, yes. Bond is so good. Meat is delicious. Yeah, you guys know. All right, so let's talk about what do you have going on? So Petal and Bud is something that we kick off every episode with. So throughout this whole season of the podcast, we start with a Petal and Bud icebreaker. So Petal is something that's happened recently that was really exciting in your life, and Bud is something that's coming up that you're excited about. So drop your Petal and Buds. Let's talk about it. Okay, someone just asked how they can purchase the honey wine and products. So Colony Meadery, check them out online. They're here in Bethlehem, but they do have a website. So Colony Meadery, so good. If you are local, they have a tasting room on the south side of Bethlehem, right by Soul Tech Solutions. Okay, so my Petal, something that happened recently, just got back from Jackson Hole, Wyoming. Insanely beautiful. Cannot wait to go back. One of those places that it's hard to leave. We were just talking about that before we started this live. We got to I tried skiing for the first time. Has anyone skied before? Comment your experience because I want to hear about it. Make me feel better because It did not go well. I tried the bunny slopes, but apparently Jackson Hole Mountain is not the mountain to start on if you are trying. So I'm going to try out some more local mountains before doing that again. I'm going to try snowboarding next time. Skis were hard when you're locked in on two very long, pointy things that can hurt you. And then I kept falling backwards and almost snapping my shins in half. So I'm going to try snowboarding next time so that I'm not stuck on the ground and impaled by one of the skis. But very, very fun. So that was my pedal. Bud, so what is upcoming is Christmas, so just really excited for the holidays and want to hear what you all have planned for the holidays as well. I know things are getting pretty scary again with COVID, so definitely playing it safe still this year, but it will be nice to see some family and get to get back together with everybody again. That'll feel good. So someone just asked, can I revisit your channel to get past info on your... So you can find all of our past podcasts on the Soul Tech Solutions YouTube channel. So you can check the link in our bio. It'll take you to the podcast on YouTube. We're also on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Anywhere you can watch podcasts, we're there. So you can go back and rewatch the season. Okay. Anyone else have something interesting they want to share about what's coming up or that just happened? What's going on with your plants? How are your plants doing? Let's talk about plants. All right, what plants are on your wish list for Christmas? I want to see if we have any similarities. I know I talked about this. If you go back and watch seasons, all season, but I've become more and more obsessed with my Hoyas. So I just had my first Hoya bloom in my personal collection this year, and it was just the most rewarding experience to actually see the blooms, and they smell amazing. I've heard about it. I've never seen it. The rumors are true. It smells amazing. Now I need every Hoya that you can have. So that is my wish list for Santa Claus. I want all of the Hoyas. Okay, someone's petal. Zoli. COVID is scary, but my son is in Vegas, so I'm alone. I think we'll have some wine. Well, cheers to you. I'll be having wine with you for sure. And better safe than sorry. Just hope everyone stays nice and healthy and gets through the holidays. If you could have any guest on the podcast, who would it be? Ooh, that's a good question. I think all of our guests this season have been amazing. They were all on my list. So thrilled with that. I think for next season, I would love to talk with Plant Queen. Would you guys listen if we got to talk with Plant Queen? Ooh, Fishtail Hoya has a bloom forming. It's under the large aspect pendant light. See? Yes, that's the way to do it. If you want to see your plants just totally change, put them under a Soul Tech light and they're going to take off. I talked about this before too. 3 really large cacti that I moved under a Soul Tech light, and they're flowering. Like these giant cacti are just flowering. It's so much fun. So yes, that's a great hack to get your Hoyas to bloom faster. Put them under your Soul Tech light. Okay, what guests would you all like to see on the podcast next season? Drop some of your favorite plant accounts. Who could we partner with that you think would be fun? What would be interesting to you? We'll put them on the top of our list for next season and we can start reaching out. Okay, while those comments cycle in, how about we give you all a little tour of where our podcast happens? Would you like that? All right, cool. So I'm going to carry you around with me.
Take it. Yeah, just stand. Hold it with both hands.
All right, I'm going to flip you around so you can see where we are. Okay, so this is the backdrop that you've been seeing in the last few episodes. So Domasi Flea is my business partner. So I own Steel City Plant Company. My partners own Domasi Flea. Together we make Plants Plus Vintage. That is the name of our storefront. So I'm the plants, Domasi is the vintage. So this is their backdrop wall. We have these really neat vintage posters in the shop. So we have things from estate sales all over the country, auctions, And then we get very planty over here. We got very wiped out this past weekend, so it is Christmas shopping time at our shop. And we got a little wiped out with plants, so we'll be restocking for this coming weekend. And Zoli asked, I love plants. For some reason, they wilt fast inside my home, but I found wonderful plant product that actually is starting to revive them by Miracle Grow, Pour and Feed Plant Food. Your thoughts? I think, girl, do what you have to do to get those plants kicking. So if that seems to be working for you, I would go with it. I would also be cognizant of the temperature in your home. So if they're wilting fast, maybe you're keeping your air conditioning on. If they're by the window and it's getting chilly. So just be cognizant of temperature. They like it a little more humid and warm. But yeah, I think that if the plant food is helping, keep going. Got these really fun punny pots. And for the holidays. Okay, so this is really where the magic happens all season long for our podcast. I'll show you the other room, which is where we started the podcast. We also have this lounge over here, which is fun. With our fake fireplace going for the holidays. So this is where, before it got dark very early, this is being used as a pop-up shop now. So this was the room where we started. So some of you will remember this backdrop here is where we posted up our podcast in the beginning. So this past weekend, we hosted a really fun vintage pop-up shop. They do vintage clothing. So shout out to Sauces Vintage on Instagram. So they did really, really cool clothes. So we had used this space as a pop-up shop to help support other small businesses because Steel City Plant Company joined the business world as a pop-up shop. So we really wanted to be able to give back and give others that opportunity to start their business. Oh, Zoli said, love it. So cheery. My son loves anything vintage, but especially clothes. Yes. Very, very neat stuff. I recommend checking out Domasi Flea. So again, those are my business partners, but they have a website. They have an Instagram account, so you can see the different cool vintage items there. Jamie, thank you so much. Oh yeah, Zoli, if they're next to the window, try that since it can get a little drafty or it can get actually even really hot. So depending on the time of the day, it might just be too much of a variant. So move them back a few inches, see if that works. Yes, a lot of the vintage products are on Domasi's website. So check out Domasi Flea and Domasi Home. We have a few different categories there. How much fun is this plant? So we got watermelon peperomia in, which I love already. But look how windy and twirly this is. So much fun. They're very happy up in our shop. And yes, Zoli, that's right, Domasi Flea. All of these windows get a ton of natural light early in the morning. So if you're ever here right in the morning, it's so magical up here. So there's all of these windows. They get blasted with sun. So the sun comes through, kind of hits everything in the shop at once in the morning. And then we have strategically placed like things that need more lighting. We have on this back wall, which Soltech Solutions outfitted with the Aspect Grow light. So we have track lighting up here and a bunch of the lights pointing at our wall to keep everything nice and healthy. And then we keep anything that needs a little more shade, so your ferns, things like that, in our front lounge so they get a little bit more protected from the light. Zoli, peperomia. I will type it in. I love all peperomias because they're pretty easy. That did not type right, autocorrect. They're tolerant of a little bit less light. We water ours once a week. There's a few variations we have. So here again are the watermelon. Here's a rainbow. I think those are the only two kinds we have right now. So much fun. We're always getting different types in. Oh, here's another one too. So yeah, definitely check out that breed. How is the plant scene in California, Zoli? So where in California do you live, and is there a big plant community there? Watermelon pep is shaped more round versus teardrop. Interesting. Yeah, these, we had a few in the beginning that all came in the same batch and they were round, but this one specifically is more teardrop. So I don't know if this one's just being weird on us, but very unique looking. But yes, to your point, ours were round as well. Very happy looking prayer plant. Southern California, not sure about any plant community. Interesting. Yeah, I recommend checking out Facebook. I know that where we live in the Lehigh Valley, if you look up Lehigh Valley plants or plant community, there's a bunch of different Facebook groups. So that's a really great way to get started, is check out your local region's Facebook groups. See if there's any planty stuff going on. All right. So want to open it up to Q&A. Do any of you have questions for me, for Soul Tech, about our podcast? One of the questions we got before starting the live in our DMs was, what was our favorite guest moment? So my personal favorite guest moment was talking with Camille with Plant Blurred and Black People with Plants. So much fun. It was our Halloween episode. So we got all dressed up in costume, just could not stop laughing. We're also got into very serious conversations. So really encourage you to go back to the Halloween episode, listen to that. Very educational. We touch on a lot of important topics and we're doing it all in costume. So it's also hard to take seriously, but you should, because it's very good stuff. So go back, check out the Halloween episode. Really, really funny. Okay, Zoli wants to know, how did I get started? Costs, etc. Yeah, so we started Steel City Plant Company as a pop-up shop. So in downtown Bethlehem, there's a really active business community and different events where there's opportunities to be a vendor. So we actually launched last Christmas on Main Street in a German-style Christmas hut. It's called Christmas City Village in our town, and I was a vendor there. And I was not expecting how busy it would be. There was really it was in the middle of the pandemic. Everyone is at home, right? Looking at their space and getting bored with their space, wanting something to nurture, something to clean the air. So people got really, really into plants, more so than ever. So it actually, even though I started the business in the middle of a pandemic, it was really the perfect time because people needed to have easier access to plants. So my mission was to make plants more accessible in an urban environment so that people could walk through their downtown and purchase plants. Not only purchase plants, but purchase everything that they would need to be a good plant parent. So living here, I'd say the closest place at the time to get plants was 35 minutes in traffic, and then I would have to go somewhere else for pots and somewhere else for soil, and then order my grow lights online, and it was just too many stops until I had a finished product in my home. So I wanted to make that process cut more short for everyone else and have everything in one space. So we specialize in already potted plants that are in home decor pots, so it's ready to place in your apartment. We also specialize in only pet-friendly plants. We do carry a few toxic ones that are larger because a lot of the floor plants tend to be toxic, but we label them as such. So it takes out the guesswork for everyone. That saves you a lot of time. I know plant parents out there, that those of us that have cats that are bad and eat our plants will spend an hour or two standing in the plant shop Googling which plants are toxic or not toxic. So that took out a lot of the work as well. So after the pop-up shop was such a success, there was still such a demand. So we were doing more and more pop-ups. we're like, oh my gosh, we really just need a brick and mortar. And so I want to just keep an eye on real estate in our downtown because I really wanted to be downtown. We have 2 downtowns in Bethlehem. So we have a north side and a south side. I was open to either of them. And just keeping my eye and saw this space become available. And for those, I just gave the tour. So those of you that were on here, you saw the shelves and the grow lights. Most of this was already built out. So I walked in and it was just already perfect for a plant shop. So definitely pulled the trigger early, I'd say. But it was the perfect space. So I'm like, we just need to say yes and figure it out as we go. So very, very blessed to have Domasi as my partners. So again, they're the flea and the vintage parts of the business. They've been in business for years in downtown Bethlehem with their Domasi home shop, which is a few doors down. They just pulled out their vintage items to be here with me. So they taught me so much and handle a lot of the back end stuff. So I would say my advice would be find people who are already doing the work, find people who know the market that you're interested in or know what they're doing, find mentors that can give you the answers that you need, and just surround yourself with experienced people that can help you. They're out there, they're willing to help you. I can tell you as someone who has a business now, I'm so ready and willing to help the next person in line. So I think that is a common theme with business owners. There's so much respect for other small businesses. And I think they're happy to help answer your questions. So I would say don't be intimidated. It's never going to feel like the perfect time to open a business. It definitely was in the middle of a pandemic, so not the perfect time, but you learn as you go and you figure it out. So I would say don't be intimidated. Find the people who can help you and just go for it. Okay, any other questions? Just love the lights. I have large and small pendant and also the Vita bulb. Yes. Just emptied a wall and now I'm trying to design that space. Might need more lights. Well, lucky for you, we're very, very excited to share the news that right now there is an online sale happening at Soltech's website. There's an extra 15% off just for this hour. So it's a 1-hour flash sale. The code, I'm going to give it to you. Ready? All right. The code is EXTRA15, EXTRA 15. So the extra is spelled out, the 15 is the number. Extra 15 is that promo code this hour, flash sale, 15% off. So if you do need more grow lights to deck out your wall, now is the most affordable time to just go for that and get some more grow lights. So yeah, let's talk about the Vita bulb. Super, super excited. So back to what we carry and how we make this a one-stop shop. We're a proud partner with Soltech and we carry Soltech Solution bulbs here and the lights and the aspect. So we were thrilled to add the Vita because so many people that come in say, you know, I have no light, but I really love this plant that needs a lot of light. And we're like, that's fine. You can have this plant that needs all of this light. You just need a grow light. And if you don't want to make the bigger investment or you just have an apartment and can't hardwire things and, you know, but still need a light, the Vita's amazing because it just screws into any lamp you already have and voila, it is a grow light. So really, really cool. There's dimmable and non-dimmable Vita bulbs available, so you can make them brighter if your lamp is the kind that clicks, or just one setting of the non-dimmable, which is a little less expensive. So check those out, soltechsolutions.com, 15% off 1 hour from now. So go to the website, get your grow lights for 15% off, promo code EXTRA15. Yeah, Zoli, I'm seeing your comments about the toxic versus non-toxic. So, and a really great resource. We use ASPCA, so they have a great listing of ones that are toxic. Also, our own website has become a bit of a resource for people. So www.steelcityplantco.com. If you click on live plants, it'll take you to our plant care blog. So that is the blog that we use for care instructions at our shop. We give everybody, every plant is tagged with a QR code that takes them to our blog and tells you how to take care of each plant, but we only feature our non-toxic plants on that blog. So anything that we've carried before in the shop that is non-toxic to pets, you'll find it on the blog, steelcityplantco.com, live plants. How important is it to not keep a plant in too small of a pot? Very, very important. Although it doesn't happen as quickly as you think that it might. I mean, I look at mine, I would say every 6 months to check on how they're doing. Again, if they're growing fast, you're gonna know that they need a new pot. You'll see, I tell everybody, look at the base of your plant where it touches the soil. You'll see roots starting to pop up the top of the soil. That's a sign that they're not fitting inside the soil or inside the pot anymore, so it needs a new pot. Also, if you take it out of the pot, check on it every 6 months, and it's root locked, so there's not any room for extra soil around the chunk of roots, that means you need a new pot as well. Also, if your lighting hasn't changed, your watering schedule hasn't changed, and you're now getting yellow leaves out of nowhere, the plant could be getting choked out, and it means that it's time for a new pot. So if there's no other reason that anything could be wrong, think about repotting. I definitely do mine once a year though. In the spring, I take them all out, shake the roots, loosen up all the old soil, get them repotted, take them all outside for a nice day of fresh air and repotting, and I bring them back in. I feed them then. Mine is cramped. Which soil is best? So there's so much to look into about soil. We like to use an organic soil, so we aren't stuck on a specific brand at all. It's, however, we can just go to your local greenhouse or even your local hardware store. They usually carry potting soil. I just recommend looking for an organic one, your basic potting soil mix. Yeah, definitely get those into new pots. Now, I'm glad we're talking about repotting, because people often make the wrong mistake of, let's use, spider plant as an example. Those can get really big, long, viney, large leaves. That doesn't mean that needs that big of a pot. So you always go off of the block of roots, and you only ever want to increase a couple inches pot size at a time. So if you go from, this size to this size right away, because that's how big the leaves are, you can be at risk of drowning your plant. So it's going to hold on to too much moisture. A solution for that though is using terracotta pots. They are really great about sucking the extra water up out of the plant roots so that you don't overwater your plants. So if you tend to be an overwaterer, I definitely recommend clay terracotta pots because it'll help absorb some of that moisture. Okay, any other questions? For those of you that are just joining, I want to thank you for being here. I'm Angie with Steel City Plant Company and host of Wind Down the Week with Angie, our podcast with Soul Tech Solutions. This is our last episode, so we're recapping our season 1, first season ever. Thank you to those that tuned in or watched. If you haven't watched, it's available on Soul Tech Solutions YouTube channel, and you can tune in anywhere that you can listen to a podcast. It's available there. So go ahead back and listen to those podcasts, and we'll keep you posted on season 2. While you are here for this hour, there is a flash sale, 15% off on Soul Tech's website of grow lights using promo code EXTRA15. I use clear glass jars so I can see the soil and roots. Great idea. I also put a layer of leca to help keep the bottom not too wet. Yep, great solution. Clear glasses are a really great solution to being able to see those roots and seeing how they're doing, if they're getting locked up. Which plant cleans the air in the home? Lots of great options. Spider plants are one of the best. Palms are really fantastic about cleaning the air as well. I'm trying to think what other ones. Those are my 2 favorites for that. Palms and spider plants are my go-to for air purifying. Money trees do as well. And I'm trying to think of some larger ones that would be good for air purifying. Fiddly fig, but those are difficult and toxic. So yeah, I'd start there. There's also if you look it up online, there was a great blog on air purifying plants that I was looking into during COVID because we wanted to get some fresh air in our place too. Yes, snake plants, but those are toxic too, so just beware. To pets. Yep, snake plants are great for the air. Easiest to care for out of the ones that I named are going to be spider plants. Those are indestructible. They're making a comeback too. I think everybody was really over the spider plant for a while, but you just get so many plants for the price of one because they make all the babies so fast, and then you can clip those and make new ones. Swiss cheese is wilting and drooping. Any tips? We were talking a little bit about wilting earlier. Is it near a window? could it be a temperature issue? I'm not sure where you live, where you're tuning in from, but if it's somewhere cold that's getting colder weather right now, it's definitely time to move those plants back from the window a little bit and transition them out of the cold. Same problem if it's right in the window and it gets really hot. That could be a problem too. So I'd think about the temperature for wilting and drooping. Other than that, your watering schedule. So if that hasn't changed and it was healthy with the watering schedule, I'd be worried about temperature. But if it's new, you might still just need to be figuring out the watering schedule. So see if giving it a little more or a little less helps at all. Check the soil first. You can try a soil thermometer to stick it down deep in and see if it's wet or dry. Those are really helpful. Are spiders or bugs attracted to the spider plants for indoors? Nope, not any more so than a regular plant. It is named spider plant because of the way that, here, let me take you to a spider plant. I have a pretty big one over here. I'll show you. Okay, Virginia Beach at the window. So yeah, if the temperature is changing right now, check that out. And I know the more south you go, the heavier that sun is. So it might be getting blasted with too much sun. Okay. So spider plants, we have a bunch right here. And they are making all of these babies, which are just kind of spidery. So that's where the name comes from. But you can pluck these off, trim them off, plop them in a clear vase of water, let them root. You'll see the roots, they root very quickly. You can pot those in soil and they'll make all new plants for you. It'll be a full-size plant just like this. And they get very, very big. Okay, for those of you just joining, just a reminder, flash sale happening for this hour at Soltech's website, 15% off of grow lights using extra 15. All right, any more questions about the podcast? What you'd like to see next season? What guests you'd be interested in hearing from? Who were your favorite guests that we heard from this season? Okay, really have, oh, thank you so much, Zoli. Stay in touch. I want to see if you get a spider plant. I want to see your whole journey. So keep in touch with us on social. Thank you for tuning in. Okay, happy holidays to you too. Can you name your podcast? I would love to listen. Yes, so it is Wine Down the Week with Angie, wine, W-I-N-E, where we drink local spirits each week featuring a different local brewery, winery, distillery, and we talk about that and we talk about plants. So it's really just a casual space to laugh, talk about plants with a lot of different plant influencers that are out there on Instagram, some of your favorite accounts we've talked to. So really great stuff. You kind of get a very behind the scenes look at the work that they do and hear some of their inside tips. And it is available on Soltech's YouTube channel. So you can go back and listen and watch all of the episodes. You can also listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you can listen to a podcast. Wind Down the Week with Angie, brought to you by Soltech Solutions. All right. Any last questions before we officially bring season 1 to a close? Hop onto Soltech Solutions website now. Use your extra 15 promo code to get 15% off of your favorite grow lights. Happy holidays, everyone. Hope you have a safe, healthy, fun, loving holiday with your family and friends. And we will see you soon. Bye, Plant Fam.